On August 6th, he threw a 5-inning perfect game no-hitter, but because it was shortened to 5 innings, Major League Baseball does not count it in its record book. They count all the other hits, all the other runs, errors, everything. They do not count the pitching feats. So in fact, he would have been one of the few pitchers in Major League history to have 2 no-hitters in the same year.
I'd say when that went off, that's like one of my greatest thrills in my athletic career. And I want to thank everybody, our friends that came down, that went to the games, and we got a lot of them here tonight. Anyway, congratulations, Sheila, good luck. The foundation is in great hands with you. Thank you very much.
Every time I see his name on a lineup card, I feel like throwing up. Those words came from Mickey Mantle, one of the greatest hitters in baseball history. But who could make the Mick admit such fear? A farm boy from Ohio with a bizarre pitching motion, turning his back to batters before firing strikes. A Cy Young winner who lived the Hollywood nightlife with Bo Belinsky. A dominant pitcher whose own catcher called him the dumbest he ever caught. This is the story of Dean Chance, the most contradictory genius baseball has ever seen. And it all started on a dairy farm. Wilmer Dean Chance grew up on a 166-acre dairy farm in Wooster, Ohio. Between milking cows and 4-H competitions, he became a high school legend. His numbers sound impossible. 52 wins, 1 loss, 17 no-hitters, 8 no-hitters in a single season, 32 consecutive victories. Every single one remains an Ohio State record today. The Baltimore Orioles signed him for $30,000 in 1959, but 2 years later, they made a fatal mistake. They considered Chance too brash, too cocky. Instead, they protected a pitcher named Arnie Thorsland in the expansion draft. Chance went to the Washington Senators, who immediately traded him to the Los Angeles Angels. The irony? Thorsland hurt his arm that spring and never won another professional game. Chance made his debut on September 11, 1961, against the Minnesota Twins. He lost 5-2, but something about his delivery caught everyone's attention. After receiving the sign from his catcher, Chance would turn his back completely toward the batter. He would not look at home plate. Then, he would spin and unleash his fastball, working low and outside at knee height. Baseball author Arnold Hanno later explained why this worked so well against hitters. Mantle had trouble because Chance threw pitches low and outside at the knee. At that point in his career, Mantle could not get under the ball. But baseball was not the only thing Chance was doing in Los Angeles. In 1962, the Angels selected Bo Belinsky from the Orioles in the Rule 5 draft. Belinsky was everything Chance was not. Smooth-talking, movie star handsome, raised in the Trenton ghettos. The press assumed Bo was corrupting the innocent farm boy. They were completely wrong. Angels outfielder Leon Wagner revealed the truth. "Dean is not any starry-eyed hanger-on," Wagner said. Compared to Chance, Belinsky is a quiet guy. Dean knows his way around, and he can show Bo a few things. Chance was leading the charge, not following it. The duo tore through Hollywood. Frank Sinatra, Marilyn Monroe, Mamie Van Doren. A candy apple red Cadillac convertible. In June 1962, police stopped them at 5:15 in the morning, leaving an Eddie Fisher concert. Each pitcher received a $250 fine for breaking curfew. Manager Bill Rigney warned Chance he was close to being sent back to the minor leagues. It did not slow them down. Spring training 1963 brought another incident. Chance and Belinsky showed up more than 2 hours late for a game in Palm Springs. Their excuse? The hotel operator failed to give them a wake-up call. They missed an awards banquet entirely. Belinsky summed it up perfectly. "I guess me and Dean are just nuclear guys," he told reporters. "We hit it off like an atomic bomb." When asked about the missed banquet, Rigney kept a straight face. "We are really taking the City Series seriously," he said. "Our starting pitchers are getting some rest." But the wildest story involved Bo's Hollywood penthouse. The ceiling had been painted by Pablo Picasso. Dean took one look at that ceiling and wanted to drill a hole in it to install a card spotter for his poker games. That way, he could make a killing. But on the mound, Chance was no joke. Spring 1964 brought a contract dispute. General manager Fred Haney offered Chance $18,000, the same salary as 1963. "I plain could not believe it," Chance told the New York Times. "I had pitched 248 innings. I had an earned run average of 3.19. My record was 13-18 with a ninth-place team. I thought I had a great year." He settled the dispute and started the season slowly. 5 wins, 5 losses through the first half. But his earned run average sat at 2.18. Something was building. On July 11th, it exploded. 3 consecutive complete game shutouts. The second half became a masterpiece. 15 wins, 4 losses, an earned run average of 1.29. Final numbers? 20 wins, 9 losses. An earned run average of 1.65. Still an Angels franchise record. 11 shutouts, including 5 1-0 victories. That tied him with Walter Johnson and Carl Hubbell for most in a single season. 15 complete games. 278 1/3 innings pitched. An earned run average plus of 200. Literally twice as good as the average pitcher. But the Yankees felt his dominance most. Sports writer Phil Pepe wrote that it was Chance, not CBS, who owned the New York Yankees. Lock, stock, and barrel. In 5 starts against the Bronx Bombers, Chance threw 4 complete games and 3 shutouts. 50 innings pitched. Only 14 hits allowed. 1 run, a Mickey Mantle home run. 4 wins, 0 losses. An earned run average of 0.18. On June 6th at Chavez Ravine, Chance faced Jim Bouton in an epic duel. Both pitchers threw zeros through 13 innings. Chance pitched 1 more inning before leaving after the 14th. The Yankees scored twice against the bullpen in the 15th and won 2-0. That season, Mantle managed only 2 hits in 12 at-bats against Chance, a batting average of 167. 1 home run. That is when Mantle made his confession. "Every time I see his name on a lineup card, I feel like throwing up." Chance won the Cy Young Award with 85% of the votes. At 23, he became the youngest winner at that time. Manager Bill Rigney called him the best right-handed pitcher I have ever seen. But there was someone who saw Chance very differently. April 1967. The Sporting News published a stunning quote from Buck Rogers, the catcher who worked with Chance during his entire Cy Young season. "Dean is the dumbest pitcher I have caught," Rogers said. When the Angels traded Chance to Minnesota, Rogers, who was also vice president of Pacific Bus Lines, offered him a one-way ticket to Minnesota. Chance shook him off and rode Greyhound instead. The quote raises an obvious question. How could the dumbest pitcher win the Cy Young Award, dominate the Yankees, and lead the American League in earned run average? The answer reveals everything about Chance's personality. He would not follow signs. He constantly shook off his catcher. He trusted his own instincts over everyone else's calls. Chance once told a sports writer that he had to strike out as many batters as possible because he did not trust his infielders to make the play for an out. His teammates responded by filling his locker with garbage. Even his pitching coach, Marv Grissom, struggled to understand him. "I still believe Dean is capable of throwing a shutout every time he starts," Grissom said. "If I knew why he does not, I would retire a millionaire." Nobody could figure out what made Chance tick. Some accused him of throwing a spitball. White Sox manager Al Lopez, a veteran who had seen everything in his long career, said it was one of the best he had ever seen. "It reminded me of Burley Grimes and caught Nellie Fox flat-footed." Lopez said of one particular pitch. Chance never confirmed or denied the accusation. His stubbornness represented old-school thinking. I know my stuff better than anyone. But baseball was evolving toward analytics and catcher collaboration. After the Angels gave up on their dumbest pitcher, he made them deeply regret it. December 2nd, 1966. The Angels traded Chance and shortstop Jackie Hernandez to the Minnesota Twins for Pete Semino, Jimmy Hall, and Don Mincher. Manager Bill Rigney admitted the difficulty. "I hated to give up Chance," he told the Minneapolis Tribune. "Dean was my pet, and what a great competitor. I consider him the best right-handed pitcher in the American League." But he added that the team needed help at first base and overall hitting. Chance responded with confidence. "I am not surprised to be traded, but I am shocked that the Angels would trade me to an American League club. I am shocked that they would run the risk of letting me come back to haunt them." He kept his promise. 1967 became a resurrection. 20 wins, 14 losses, an earned run average of 2.73. He led the American League with 39 starts, 18 complete games, and 283 and 2/3 innings pitched. The league named him Comeback Player of the Year. He started his second All-Star game. August 6th brought a bizarre achievement. Facing the Red Sox at Metropolitan Stadium, Chance threw 5 perfect innings. Rain halted play with 1 out in the bottom of the 5th. The Twins won 2-0. "It was a cheapie," Chance said later. "I am glad it was called because we won. I had good stuff, particularly my curveball, but who can honestly tell whether you have no-hit stuff or not? I doubt that I could have pitched a no-hitter. The game does not count officially because it did not reach 9 innings. 19 days later, on August 25th, he threw a real no-hitter against Cleveland. His parents and high school baseball coach drove from Worcester to watch. The first inning was chaos. 2 walks, an error, and a wild pitch allowed Cleveland to score 1 run without recording a single hit. Pitching coach Early Wynn came to the mound and told Chance his motion was too slow. He settled down after that. Catcher Jerry Zimmerman explained the key. "Dean was just wild enough to be effective tonight," he said. "Those Cleveland hitters were hanging loose at the plate. Dean has no-hit stuff almost every time he goes out." Vice President Hubert Humphrey called to congratulate him. But the season ended in heartbreak. September 1967 brought one of the tightest pennant races in baseball history. The Twins, Red Sox, Tigers, and White Sox battled into the final day. Minnesota faced Boston at Fenway Park. Chance started against Jim Lonborg, who had gone 0-3 against the Twins that season. Chance led 2-0 going into the bottom of the 6th inning. Then disaster struck. Boston scored 5 runs. Only 1 ball left the infield. Carl Yastrzemski delivered the crushing 2-run single. The Red Sox won 5-3. The Twins missed the pennant by 1 game. It was Chance's last great season. Arm trouble and back injuries followed. He said his quirky delivery shortened his career. By 1969, he managed only 5 wins in 15 starts. He was out of baseball by age 30. But perhaps the most remarkable thing about Dean Chance was not his pitching. It was his hitting. A batting average of .066, the lowest ever recorded for anyone with at least 500 plate appearances. 44 hits in 662 at-bats, 420 strikeouts. "I am a horrible hitter," Chance admitted. During the 1967 season with the Twins, he went 0 for 52 between April 19th and July 23rd, 35 strikeouts during that streak. It remains the Twins' record for consecutive at-bats without a hit. Baseball author Bill James named Chance one of the worst hitting pitchers of the 1960s. He could make Mickey Mantle want to throw up. But he could not hit water if he fell out of a boat. Yet Chance had a philosophy about baseball. "One day you can throw tomatoes through brick walls," Chance once said. "The next day, you cannot dent a pane of glass with a rock. It hurts, but you hang on. hoping it will come back. Through everything, one friendship remained constant. Chance and Bo Belinsky stayed close until the end. In 1972, Chance checked Bo into an Akron rehabilitation hospital. He refused to attend autograph shows unless Bo was invited. When Belinsky died in 2001, Chance paid tribute. Bo was a one-of-a-kind guy, and there will not be another one like him, he said. He made his peace, and he is probably better off today. In August 2015, the Angels inducted Chance into their Hall of Fame, alongside Tim Salmon and Mike Witt. 2 months later, on October 11th, Dean Chance died of a heart attack in his hometown of Wooster, Ohio. He was 74 years old. Mickey Mantle once felt like throwing up seeing his name. Buck Rogers called him the dumbest pitcher he ever caught. Yet Bill Rigney called him the best right-handed pitcher he had ever seen. Dean Chance was baseball's walking contradiction. Brilliant and stubborn. Cy Young winner and worst hitter ever. But he lived on his own terms, and for brief moments, he could throw tomatoes through brick walls. Those moments were enough.